Our coverage continues. We are talking gas prices, but also oil futures. And what a ride it has been since this weekend. The ups, the downs, and the ebbs and flows. We are going to continue to talk about it right here on Live Now from Fox. I want to bring in our next guest to help break it all down from Fox Business, Phil Flynn. Who better than to be tracking these futures? And Phil, tell us really the ride from Sunday night into Monday morning to where we are now. How is this all happening?
Well, this is happening because we're seeing things that have never happened before. And the fear on Sunday night when we saw that huge price spike is that the war with Iran would lead to the biggest single oil disruption ever before on the face of the planet. And there was fearful because they were watching, Fox Now and Fox News, and they were seeing that incredible footage of rivers of oil fires in Iran and reports of pipelines getting attacked and tankers getting attacked. And there was real fear, that prices could go to $200 a barrel if they couldn't get the Strait of Hormuz open. Strait of Hormuz, of course, world's most important choke point, was shut down, and that moves 20% of the day's supply. But, cooler heads are prevailing today. President Trump says the war could be ending soon. There's reports that some tankers might be getting back through the Strait of Hormuz. And Iran, their ability to keep the strait closed remains questionable for the long run. And I think the market's betting on a win by the U.S. military as well.
Yeah, it really has been this a strong up and down. And even yesterday with the news of President Trump saying, they may be ahead of schedule when it comes to this military operation in Iran. But I want to talk about the news that was made today, and really a post maybe that shouldn't have been a post, and what we saw the oil do with that. Edward Lawrence with Fox News are reporting that the Energy Secretary removed a post about U.S. military escorting the first oil tanker through the Strait of Hormuz. A White House source saying the post was premature. We saw the dip. We saw what happened. What was happening today with the markets in reaction to that?
Well, I think you see the signal. If once we open the Strait of Hormuz, we'll see a major drop in oil prices. And as far as the post, it gets me speculating, right? We're hearing from private tanker firms that at least some ships have gone through the Strait of Hormuz. There was a Greek tanker that got through. Reports that 2 Chinese tankers moving Iranian oil got through. And so now the question is, why the post and why the removal? I wouldn't be surprised if it actually did happen. I'm just speculating right now. And they don't want people to know, right? They don't want Iran to know that we're doing this because they could change tactics, and that's a concern. But even if it didn't happen, I think that the market is starting to realize that this small country that's on its last legs is going to have a hard time keeping that strait closed when the whole world depends on it. It's Iran against the world. And, to be honest with you, I don't think they're going to have the military capability to keep this up for the long run. And I think the market's starting to realize that.
Bill, when is the last time that you saw oil futures as high as, 117, 118, and then in a couple of days it's below 80? When's the last time you've seen this?
Let me check my history book. You got a minute? Here we go. Let me wait. It's never happened before. So no, I've never seen it before because it's never happened before. Having said that, we have seen some epic price rallies and epic price breaks, and this is a good thing for the viewers to learn because sometimes these wars, we buy the rumor and sell the fact, right? What we saw on Sunday night was fear, right? Fear, not reality, right? Because people are like panicking. It's like, I better get my hands on some oil. It might be too late. But then when the reality sets in, they realize that things weren't that bad and prices go back down. And when you see that price spike in oil, things happen on the physical side of the market. For example, today, the Energy Information Administration said that because the prices went up, the United States will end up producing more oil because prices went higher. So producers here in the United States, when those prices went up, were able to lock in some of those higher prices, which means they can produce oil at a profit and sell that oil, and that will eventually bring more oil onto the market than would have been there had we not had this dust set.
And lastly, Phil, I got to ask the question for, just the everyday Americans that are driving past the gas station. They see today, gas has jumped up 40, 50 cents maybe from what it was on Sunday, but they notice, hey, the oil futures are lower than it was on Sunday. How come the gas hasn't come down so fast? Why is that?
I believe it's very simply this, because gasoline buyers usually pay for their gasoline ahead of time. So in other words, the gas that's in their tank, they haven't paid for, right? They're always one step behind. So they get the gas on contract, they sell the gas, and they get money to buy more gas, right? And when prices go up, they have to pay a higher price. So they usually end up losing money when prices spike up, so it takes longer to go down. But I'll tell you this, the reversal that we saw on the physical side of the market suggests that the price spike at the gas pump is going to be short-lived. We will see prices probably continue to go up because the gas station buyers are running behind. But ultimately, if things continue to go the way they're going, we'll probably see those prices get lower than they were before the start of the conflict. So let's keep praying for a quick resolution, and if that happens, you may even get a bonus at the pump. So if you don't need to fill up this week, try to wait 2 weeks. You'll probably be better off.
There we go. Phil Flynn, thanks so much for joining us, as always, on Live Now from Fox. We always appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you.